Hey, good morning, guys. Armand from Cool Train Tools here. Hope you guys had a good weekend. So we're gonna go over a few things today. So I think the markets do look a little bit like they might be pulling this morning, but I think I want to make a few points about that. So first off is I think they're coming into support. I think S&P 500 is coming in the 20 SMA, this previous all-time high, QQQ. Um, is kind of coming into the support range that I'd drawn out from last week with the gap fill area. So I wouldn't be surprised if, in my opinion, if we break, undercut, and then this gets bought up. But I think it's a good way to lead into a broader point here is that, so I mean, we talked about this. The SPY is moving up to all-time highs, so it's technically trending, but it's moving off of sectors that aren't personally what I would trade. Like I said, we've talked about healthcare, biotechs, XLF, financials, that is, XLE, oil. These aren't particularly great momentum traders for like my personal style of swing trading or day trading. So, despite the fact that it's breaking out, I'm going to kind of consider this for my style. We're just in a big ranging market, right? And we talked about that over the last few weeks is that it's not the best for swing traders. There are things going, and you need to kind of be on top of that and not like, you just got to kind of maybe adjust your style a bit and understand like the things that you were trading for this entire last year aren't necessarily what you can still trade. You can't keep trading semiconductors the entire time. I mean, because semiconductors are downtrending and also in their own giant range. I mean, they said a weekly high or low, lower high, excuse me, relative to the all-time highs last week. So we'll see what that is. But ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if we chop around in this range for a bit. So what do we talk about? What's the plan that you do with that in that situation? For my style, what I found, and really is the good methodology. I mean, I think it's pretty universal in this. Unless you want to completely move to swing trading and the trending markets of oil and et cetera like that, because there are things like metal and whatever moving. It's just not my style. So for momentum trading, which is what I like, what happens is you want to migrate to, you have to be even more in a ranging market, picking out the sectors and stocks that are still giving the type of volatility that you want to trade with. And what is that? Bitcoin last week. Let's go to Bitcoin. Made an awesome move last week, right? Big move last week on Bitcoin, right? Held that big support we've been watching here. And what did that do? That caused a lot of volatility in names like MSTR, big push. RIOT had a good few day run, and it's just good volatility from those names, right? And so, what is the point here? Is that you just got to be a little bit more focused. And honestly, sometimes it helps me out because in a big bull market, everything's moving and my attention's less focused. And sometimes you're trying to do too many things at once. Now you can kind of pick your sector and watch what is the volatility is, and it's a little bit easier to focus on. So right now, that's kind of what I think the main focus should be. And I'm going to go over kind of the setups on that. I think from a day trading side, so there's two things. I think from a day trading short term side, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback retracement here, right? So I'm actually looking on, for example, RIOT and MARA got crushed last Friday, right? At the end of the day, which is expected. They move 45% in 3 days. It's not crazy to get a pretty volatile pullback, right? MSTR not as volatile yet. I mean, excuse me, not as deep of a pullback yet. I might be watching something. This is the green to red line where it closed yesterday. I might watch for it to go red today and take a short off that and kind of look for a play to pull back. The range is there where we can trade that to the short side. I think there's a distinction too. You don't want to be shorting stocks that are moving up, but this hasn't been a traditional uptrending stock yet. It hasn't formed the trend yet, so I think you can still short this, right? And we look to play from the short side to day trading it, but from a swing perspective, as we go back, I think this is a pretty big change. I mean, if you look at this weekly candle on Bitcoin, I think this is, I mean, if you look at it, this is like the biggest candle it's had in years. You know what I mean? I mean, since it made like this move, this is a big old candle. So, what does that mean? I think you want to be thinking from a day trade, I mean, a swing trade side, upside. What are we looking for on the upside? So, you can look to maybe look, like I said, we talked last week about build your list of Bitcoin stock names, right? Like ETH, they have these. Or you might just need to move to cryptos. And I mean, I personally don't trade cryptocurrencies that often. However, when the markets become a little bit more volatile, you can normally find some opportunities in these, right? So that's a couple options you can look for, right? You can look for crypto swings as the market pulls back and look to be a little bit more aggressive on buying some of these first pullbacks on these. Or you can do it in the stock market too. There's some crypto ETFs and like ETHU, which represent, Ethereum, 2X, and etc. So short term, I'm looking for the short. I think it wouldn't be surprising to get a pull on this. And we got some signals on RIOT and MRNA last Friday. We'll see what happens here. I mean, we might need a little bit of a bounce. I wouldn't be blown away. MSTR is such a huge short interest in there. It wouldn't blow me away. So don't get caught here just like ramming your head against the wall. If it's not proving it's short, and what's it proving it's short to me? If it goes red on the day. That's why we're using that line in the sand. We don't need to not sit here and guess if it's going to go down. If it goes red, that's our signal. We can get short on that. And then if it goes back green, okay, we can stop out and say, okay, well, if we're right about getting the 5, 6, 7, 8% pull and pull into the moving averages here, then it should stay red on the day, right? So you can use that kind of as your line in the sand here versus if we push higher, I don't want to keep shorting into the move up. I want to kind of say there's people that made money on this move and they're going to say, okay, we're going to bail if things start to move lower and wait for the first pullback. So, re-summarize. I'm short biased on these in the short term, today and maybe the next day. But long term, I think this is a theme that we want to stay focused on for the market. This Bitcoin move was pretty substantial, and I think we want to be really like making sure we got our ducks in a row of what cryptos we would look to get entries on a pullback, as well as what crypto stocks we would like to get entries on a pullback for. And that can be for day trading or swing trading. So like I said, signal today for me on MSTR would be a green to red. I don't really want to over anticipate that because there are a lot of shorts in this. And if it starts to move higher, you could play it both ways. So this is the point. Momentum has picked up in this, right? It's moving $5, $6, $7 last few days. We can day trade it both directions, and that's the point. Versus like going into some of the old names that you were trading, right? So that's the plan for the Bitcoin and crypto stocks. The other thing I'm watching today, besides that, is I'm still watching this MRNA, which, yes, this big squeeze is probably over, but there's still enough volatility. And oftentimes, after you get a huge move like this, right, there's a lot of people, once the move died out, so there's a lot of people who are buying this day, amateur, let's just say amateur traders, and they're looking for the huge squeeze. When they realize it's not going to happen, and this thing is likely going to get a big 20, 30% pull at some point, you can play that volatility as well. So this is still giving great range. I mean, it moved 22 or whatever, $27 yesterday or on Friday. It's still moving great, right? And giving good day trading opportunities. So what are we watching on here? Watching this hourly range. If we get below this day, right? This day right here, that hourly trend would tell me, okay, we're starting to pull and we can make a move back down towards 100 area, right? I also wouldn't be surprised if we get another squeeze higher. That's not out of the question too. I don't think we're going to go break this 176 level. Anything's possible, but I wouldn't be putting too much thought into that, breaking these highs from the squeeze. So what am I watching? I might watch for a push up to the green, fail, and then take it back down short. I might look for a break of these levels that I marked here, to kind of get the move. Like I said, the plan is I think the volatility is there. I think there are people who are maybe hoping for more of a move these next few days, as well as short sellers from big name players. If the move shows that it's stopping, people are going to bail on that position, and larger funds are going to start hammering it to the short side, right? So I think we can get a large move down, which I think is eventually what is going to happen. It's just more of a timing thing than it is of will it happen. It's really when does it happen, and how does it happen. Hopefully, I think because of given the price range we're getting, that we can still get a volatile day trading move on it to the downside. But here's another thing too. You can play this both directions, right? I don't think if you're going to play to the long side, I think you want to be a little bit realistic and don't think we're going to get to 170s, but you can day trade for a few points to the long side, then flip it short for a few points. You don't have to hold for an extreme move. Like I said, my average trade is between 10 to 20 minutes long. So, and when you're getting moves like this, bam, that's $9. Opening range breakout, $14. Breakdown of this flag. I mean, there's giving opportunities all over the place, and you can play the volatility. There's enough where you can find small risk reward locations to play a move either direction. Ultimately, I'm more short bias on this as well. I think we will come down. It's more of a how and when. So, summarize, the ETFs, besides the ones that we don't want to trade, like healthcare, biotechs, oil, they're trending up. That's good for them. It's not particularly our cup of tea. Momentum names are not really trending that much. So what do? We find the hot sectors. Currently, cryptocurrency showed some life last week. I think that's a big focus for this week. And then individual names that are also moving to their own volatility based on news, MRNA. And that's kind of the playbook when the market goes into range from a momentum day trading side. When the market gets in range, you become hyper focused on the sectors and stocks that are moving it to their own individual narrative. When they're moving like this, that's when you can be a little bit there's normally multiple sectors setting up, and you want to be kind of making sure you're watching a lot of different things to kind of catch the move on what is ready to move next. So anyways, that's it for today. Let's have a good trading week, and you guys have a good day.